am here. I walked away for just a second to grab a couple of extra paints. So, hi, this is Jen with Jen Stan Art, and I am here today for our New Technique Wednesday, number 16. Say hello. Hello, Miss Sharon and Miss Christy. How are y'all doing today? And we are working today on an 8 by 10 canvas board. Okay, we're working on a canvas board, and this is what we're doing today. Okay, hey, Miss Diana and Cindy, I can see your name. Hello, Miss Teresa. Hi, Miss Debbie. I am excited that you are watching us today. So I'm going to try to fit this reference photo in here as I work. Maybe I can, let's see if I can make this a different view. Okay, so I might do that view instead. That'll probably be better. Okay, so what we're going to do is, let me just talk to you about what we're going to do here. And remember, if you've been watching or if you're new, let us know if you're new. We'd love to hear from you and tell you hi. Hey, Miss Pat. Hey, Miss Cheryl and Elizabeth and Jenny and Phyllis and Jenny and Helen. Oh, we got a bunch of Tribe Sisters on here. And Miss Sharon and Carla. So tell us hi, regardless of whether you're new or first-time watcher. Let us know if you're a first-time watcher. We'd love to hear from you. So I've been coming live every Wednesday for what we call a New Technique Wednesday. I'm an acrylic artist. I've been painting using acrylics and only acrylics for about 6 years now. And what I have challenged myself to do over the last few months is to learn new acrylic painting techniques. And I come on live every week to share with you a new technique that I'm interested in and that I'm learning. And today's new technique is called, I had to write it down because it's called pointillism. Pointillism. Okay, pointillism. So what we're going to do with this technique, which if you read my description, it reminds me of the old days when I used to play around with a light bright. Y'all remember the light brights? I loved light brights. It was one of my favorite toys to play around with. It was just super fun for me. So this technique is basically, I'm going to demonstrate a little bit for you first before we get into the actual technique. Let me find a little pad that I used here. Here we go. I'm going to use this real quick. Okay, so pointillism, let me grab a new sheet. This is my mixed media pad. So I'm going to grab just my basic colors. Don't pay attention to these other colors here. They're just drawn in this little palette. So I'm going to add some basic colors. I'm going to add red. I'm going to talk to you about each one of these. This is actually a cherry cobbler. And I'm using just basic craft paints today because those paints will probably work better than heavy body paints. I normally use acrylic heavy bodies. This is what I don't like about craft paints. If you keep them for too long, they'll create this mess. And I have a bunch of those. So let's do red, yellow, and blue. Let me see if I have a craft paint blue hanging around. Yes, I do. Let me grab that real quick. I'll get back in. Hang on, I'm coming right back. Okay, so let me show you this technique just by using the 3 basic colors. Okay, 3 basic colors. So red, blue, and yellow. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use it with a paintbrush. And I'm looking at my possible paintbrushes that I can use. Okay, here's one that I think will work pretty good. It is a round brush with a tip on the end of it. Okay, so I'm basically just going to start with the red. Am I going to start with the red? Yeah, I'm going to start with the red. Okay, so I'm just going to put a bunch of points. Okay, and I'm gonna make this like a corner. So up at the top, I'm gonna put and this is the painting technique, y'all. It's just a bunch of little dots. Now, you can use the little dots or you can make the little dots by using the tip of a paintbrush like I'm doing right now. Now, this is a new technique for me, so remember this. I'm not a professional at this at all. I am learning this with you guys. So the concept here is if you put the dots really close together, then it makes, a nice covered area. But you want to start with a white background, okay? And then as you go further out, if you want it to be like not as bright, then you make the dots a little bit further away. Now, this is a timely process. It's not something you can do really fast, but I'm just going to demonstrate for you. And then here's something that we're going to do. We're going to clean this off. And then I'm going to show you, let's go with yellow now, okay? And I'm going to take the yellow and I'm going to kind of make it blend in. Now, it's still wet. Remember, it's still wet, so you're going to get a little bit of overlap because it's wet. And I'm just going to make some little yellow dots. And then as I go out further, the reason why I'm using craft paint is because craft paint is already thin. And the texture that I want to be able to do this and to make these dots is I kind of want it to be almost like an inky consistency, maybe not quite ink, but I don't know what would be a good comparison of that. So if you take a step back and you look at it, and I'm just using yellow and red, if you take a step back and look at it, you can kind of see like a merging of the two colors, the yellow and the red. You can kind of see a little bit of orange taking place in between, okay? But you have to take a step back to be able to see it. And my red is not really a red. It's kind of like it's almost like a maroon, okay? So you can do that, and I'm just demonstrating. I could also take maybe the blue. I'm just going to make myself a little corner here and do the same thing. I'm going to take the blue, and I'm going to go a little bit faster with this one because this is going to take a while, obviously. This is the first time I ever do this. So not only can you use the end of a paintbrush, but you can also use like a dropper. If you have a dropper, I'm sure y'all have seen those paintings that use this technique. Okay, you can use a dropper and just drop paint on your palette, or you can use the other end of your paintbrush. The only thing with using the other end of your paintbrush, like the tip end right here, is you're going to have to dip a lot because it doesn't go very far. So you're going to have to come back and dip and dip and dip and dip. It does make a nicer little circle though, don't you think? Okay, so I'm going to try that with this side, and I'm going to use the yellow again. And I'm going to start putting some yellow in here. Yeah, see, you have to dip a lot with this one. So let me move this a little closer. And then I can go out further. If you use the, I'm very intrigued by this. Can you tell? I think it's pretty awesome. So it's a totally different technique that it just takes dots. Now, another name for it, I've seen it called stippling, S-T-I-P-P-L-I-N-G. I've seen it called stippling as well. But you can create an entire painting by doing this. And I'm hoping that you can see, like, when you put the two colors really close together next to each other, you can kind of see a little bit of green happening in between there. So that's just a little demonstration for you to see what we're going to be doing. We are going to be using that technique to paint this landscape here. Okay, so what do y'all think? Hello, Miss Sandy. How are you doing today? Tell us how you're doing. Oh, good. Miss Marilyn, I love that. That sounds really fun. Teach your grandson how to paint like that. Okay, so I'm going to sketch this out. I don't have a template for it. I'm just going to sketch this out. And it's just about the same exact size as this little. I'm working on an 8 by 10. So here is the kind of like the horizon right there. And I'm going to cover this word that I put. I'm going to make the born. And I purposely chose a photo that that did not have a lot of busyness in it. I wanted like really basic colors in it, and I wanted something that was going to be kind of easy to follow, because we didn't want to have to, make a bunch of like little bitty, like maybe like some grass or some hay or something like that. I didn't want it to be super crazy like that. So I'm trying my best to draw this out. And I'm going to go up here. And then I'm going to come down here. Okay, so this is just going to be my guide. And I think that's good. So this is where I'm going to start. I'm going to use these very basic craft paints. And I am going to start with, now here's the key. Here's what I'm learning about this. You don't use white, okay? You don't use white paint. You use the color that you want, but if you want it to look kind of like a lighter color, then you just put the dots a little further apart. If you want it to look like a really brighter color or a darker color of the color you're using, then you put the dots closer together. Okay, so let's try this. Let's see how this is going to work. I'm going to use this blue for my sky. And I'm just going to start my process. I don't like using the end of the paintbrush like that because I find my dots don't look like dots. So I'm going to use the back of the paintbrush. And that's a lot easier for me. Now just be patient because this is going to take a while. But we're going to come up with something that's going to look like, I'm going to put this right here next to me. We're going to come up with something that looks like a beautiful landscape. Now you don't have to just use red, yellow, and blue. I'm going to use some other colors. But since I had the blue already, then of course I'm going to go ahead and use it. And if your paint's not thin, you see how my paint's kind of thin? If your paint's not thin like that, then you're going to want to make it thin. Just add some water to it. Now, what's good about acrylic paints is if you try to do this with watercolor on a watercolor piece of paper, the paint would spread. And that's not what we want. We want the paint to stay in a little dot. It's called pointillism. Now, I'm going to have to cover up my words I put here that say pointillism. So, Miss Allison, how are you? Not Miss Allison, Miss Sandy. How are you? Hello, Miss Renee. Philbrook. Oh my goodness, been in the hospital and now he's in nursing home because she's Miss Renee, I'm so sorry. Please let your husband know that we are praying for him. We will add him to our prayer list. And you take care of yourself, including your husband, but make sure you take care of yourself too. We miss you. Q-tips work well. Yeah, I don't like Q-tips, y'all. And then Q-tips also don't give you the same effect that I'm trying to get here. Okay, this is called pointillism. This is an actual drop of paint. It's not a like the Q-tip kind of like, I don't know, the Q-tip does different. The Q-tip does like the other side of the paintbrush was doing. So I like this better than a Q-tip. Okay, so we're just going to do a bunch of blue. Okay, if you don't like that blue, you can always add some other, and we're going to do that. We're going to have some fun. I like these little drops. They are so cute. Believe it or not, this is very therapeutic. Okay, I feel like I'm like knocking on something, like hammering a nail or something like that, and I love that. So I'm having way too much fun already. Just want to let y'all know because this is super fun. Okay, we're gonna use some green as well. And that's going to be for our trees. And the green that I have is a folk art. It's kind of thick, actually. It's called grass green. I'm going to drop a little bit of water in it because it is kind of thick. And I'm going to mix that up just a tad. And y'all just watch this painting come to life. Okay. Here's my green. Now, I also want you to notice that back here is a really, really thin green. Like not thin, but like a really light green. So watch what's going to happen. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit of yellow in it. And then, let me clean that off. I'm going to grab, let me see if I have a thin black paint. I do not have black, or do I? No, I don't have black. I have a dark gray, but I do not have black in a thin paint. Let me put some gray in here. Okay, the reason why I put in the gray is because what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to take some of my green and I'm going to mix it. Let's see if I can do this. Probably should have gone the other way. Yeah, let me go the other way. I'm going to mix the green and make it a little bit darker. I'm just using a palette knife to mix it with. It's still not dark enough. I love these little trees. I used to have a bunch of them, but okay. I'm going to add just a teeny bit of red in there, just to add some, get it a little bit darker. Your complementary colors make the shade a little bit darker. So, all right, that's better. I wanted a dark green, almost like a hunter green now. Okay, so let's go back to our tapping. And this is going to be this other tree up here. Now remember, I've never done this before. This is the first time I do this. So we are learning together. I'm making this tree right here. Now this is only the first layer. So I should probably put more dots closer together to really make it show what I want it to do. But we're just starting out. So let's see how it goes. I wish I could do it in fast motion, but I'm live, so, you know, we just have to watch it come to life, slowly but surely. Hello, Miss Monera, is it? From Massachusetts? Thank you for joining us today. Okay, I'm going to take a break from that, and I'm going to come over here to make this little tree. These branches right here are sticking out. Okay, let's add a little bit of yellow in there. Oh, I don't want to do that because I'm making a mess with my yellow. Now again, you do not have to use just your primary colors. We're going to add some other colors in just a minute. Okay. All right. Kind of plays with your eyes, doesn't it? Okay, let's get some red going on here. And let's start tapping away at our barn. This red almost has a pink tint to it. So I might have to see if I have a different red and come back with it. Okay, there's something on the end of my brush that's stopping it from making dots. So again, this is called pointillism. And you can, I don't know if y'all have ever noticed, you've seen people, that's all they do is they make dots to make their paintings. That's basically what this is. But we're just doing like a really fast version of it. Yeah, if you have not tried this before, this is a great stress reliever. I love it. I really do love it. It's actually a lot of fun. Have any of you ever done this before? Hello, Miss Elaine. Hello, Miss Pat. We are tapping away to create an art piece from making dots. It's kind of like a Lite-Brite. Remember the Lite-Brites? And I looked up Lite-Brite just a little while ago before I came on, and they're still really popular, it looks like. So, hello, Miss Ellen from Alabama. How are you today? Thank you for coming on and joining us. We are practicing a new technique today, and we're doing it fast because this is definitely a long process. I'm trying to put my paints as close to my little dot area as possible. I could see myself sitting here for hours doing this because it really is enjoyable. Okay, that doesn't need it. Now my picture, these are not stripes on the board. My printer does not print that well. So that's just from the printer, but it really is like a solid red barn. Okay. I'm going to have to go back and put some more layers or like some more dots because I can already tell that I don't have enough. So what I'm going to do with the blue is I'm going to lighten the blue with a little bit of white. Let me find my thin white. I don't have a white, but I do have it's called cottage white. And so I'm going to come in here and I'm going to mix some more. Oops, don't put your finger in it. And so we're going to get a lighter blue. And then I'm going to come back. And I feel like I need more, but it's just going to be a little bit lighter. So I'm going to be more strategic in my placement of this blue because I'm going to want it to look maybe a little bit more like clouds are coming in. Okay, a little bit better. All right. Let me see. I'm going to use this gray right on the roof. I'm going to put a little bit more gray on here. Hello, Miss Candy from Nevada. Oops, I just dropped some here. Let me wipe that off real quick. Hello, Anna. So we just have to fill the space with lots of dots. Absolutely, that's it. And we're practicing this technique with this. Hopefully, by the time we're done, it actually looks, pretty decent. Right now, I'm not. I don't know. I'm not sure. I mean, I like the feel of the technique, like I like doing it, but I'm not sure I like what it looks like. You know what I'm saying? But it sure is fun. I think I have to maybe take my time more and put my dots closer together. So I might do that as time goes by. This is going to be like a little window. This is going to be another little window right there. And then I'm going to add, even though it's not there, I'm going to add a little, like a door. Just because I think it'll look better. Okay. Now I'm going to put some orange in this one. And I'm going to mix it up because I had a little bit of yellow in there at the bottom. That's a piece of junk. Let me get that out of there. All right. And that's a little bit too bright of an orange for me. I want to tone it down just a little. So I'm going to add some yellow in it. And I'm going to stir it up with my little palette knife. Okay, that's a little bit better. I'm kind of full in this little deal, so I'm not going to do any more. All right, so let's start. Now, this is not going to require what I normally do with layers. This is just going to require a lot of just a little bit of orange and a lot of yellow. I'm going to dab in the orange just a little bit. And then I'm going to come down all of this. Let me put some more yellow in here. See, because the more you have on the ends of your brush, the more taps you can get out of it. At least I was thinking that. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm making a little song. Y'all hear it? Let me try the other end of the brush. See if that'll go faster. It's not as pointed. It's not as dotty. And my dots are bigger. And it's not as loud. Okay, so I'm going to focus on the shape. Down here, you can kind of see like the sunflowers are going in a line. So I'm going to keep them in a line. This goes a lot faster. So I'm just going to do this for demonstration purposes. I'm just going to do this to go faster. This is really mesmerizing. I just want to let y'all know that. It's very soothing. So again, this is called pointillism. And it is my first time trying it. And I think this is definitely not something you can create a whole painting, which I'm trying to create in less than an hour. This is something that would take a lot of time to make all your dots exactly, like where you want them to be. But for demonstration purposes, we're going to start going a little bit faster. And I'm going to come back. Let me start with the green. See how like right underneath each one of these, there's a little bit of green. What do y'all think? Miss Elaine, it is very interesting. No, wait, we're not done either. This is kind of like the first layer. So, you know, when we're doing a regular acrylic painting and we put down that first layer and it looks like it's not going to be anything, it's kind of where we are right now with this one. So tell me what you think. Are you going to try it? Miss Joy says, I hear you, Miss Joy. I'm starting to feel the same way. You have to have a lot of patience to be able to do this. But it's so much fun. Like, you know, whenever, like I said, the main reason I'm doing these challenges, these weekly techniques, is because, you know, we all get bogged down in certain techniques. And it's just like anything else. You know, we get set in a certain habit and we just stay within that little window of what we know, and we never venture out. We have a bad habit of doing that, and that's just a human nature thing. So I started doing this so that we can start venturing out a little more, and so I could start venturing out a little more and seeing, you know, what else is out there. Because I've pretty much decided that I want to be an acrylic artist. I don't want to be a watercolor artist. I don't want to be an oil painter. I love acrylics. I love everything about acrylics. And I know that there's so much more out there about acrylics that I have not even tapped into. And so, yeah, I just wanted to share all of these little techniques with y'all that I'm learning. And it may be a technique that I never use again, but I just want to try it because I want to see if there's something out there that, you know, I would like. And so that's what brings us where we are now on these little New Technique Wednesdays. But you definitely have to have, and I'm only using an 8x10 canvas board. So if you want to try this out, I suggest you try it out on like a 4x4. Don't go too big because you'll be there for about a month. Yes, Miss Sandy says maybe I'll try it on a smaller canvas. I thought I was going small, but I'm realizing now I should have probably done something a little bit smaller for the demonstration. Let's see what y'all talking about. I have used the texture technique a lot. Really, Miss Helen? Oh no, not Miss Helen. Miss Linda. Miss Linda says that. Oh, the texture technique, the one we did. That, yeah, the texture. I love the texture. I love the texture. Coming up on, just to give y'all a heads up, I have some things in the works over the next few months. I'm going to start having guest artists come in on our New Technique Wednesdays, and we're going to do a live together where they teach us the technique, and I am demonstrating it with you guys and the guest artists at the same time. So, you know, there's other acrylic artists out there. Now I'm going with the orange, and I'm just starting to make some little spots with the orange, like the middle of the sunflowers, but I'm just randomly placing them around. So yeah, we're gonna start having guest artists come in and teach us their acrylic techniques. And we're gonna continue to do this because, you know, I think there's some cool techniques that, you know, it's kind of hit and miss, but I think there's some really cool techniques that we can learn from this. And if you're in my tribe, you probably noticed that, like on our last tribe painting that we did and our mini tribe painting, we used the glazing technique on our on our background, and we used the glazing technique on our bumblebee that we painted. So yeah, we're learning some really cool things, and I love it. Okay, this just looks like a big hot mess right now. But hang on, we're gonna come back and fix it some more. I'm gonna try to make it a little bit more lined up. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit of orange to my yellow. I'm going to make a really pretty orangey yellow. And I'm going to start being a little more strategic in my placements of my dots. Oops, I got something on it. So I'm kind of looking at the orange dots that I put, and I'm trying to come around the orange dots with some more yellowy orange to try to make them like actually kind of look like a flower without painting, but just dotting. So something else I would probably do is I would let this dry, and then after a while come back with another layer of like different colors, like a darker yellow, which is kind of what I'm doing right now. And then some of your greens, I come back with like a lighter green. I think eventually it's going to be beautiful, but it's just going to take a long time. Don't y'all feel? Because you can already see what I've done. Here is looking a lot more I think my barn needs some more red, maybe a different shade of red. And maybe you have like a water droplet. Maybe you could put the paint in a water droplet. I don't know. Who is busy? It's busy, busy on the eyes. So I'm thinking my dots need to be closer together. Do y'all agree? It's called pointillism, yes. Which pretty much means you use lots of dots. Hello, Miss Nona, Miss Tribe, Sister of the Month. Did you see our post? Okay, now I'm getting all mixed up into other colors because I'm using the other side of the brush. Now this is kind of mixing the paints together by doing this. I don't really like that. Okay, I'll clean that off. Oh, that's a great idea, Miss Glinda. Look at you. This is one you could do on vacation because you would not have to take a lot of paints with you. That is a wonderful suggestion. Let me grab a different red. Give me just a second. Oh, here's a pretty red. And I think this one's kind of thin. I'm running out of spots on my little. Oh, here's another one. Let me use a brighter red. Okay, I like that one. So you see how long this is going to take? Now that's too thick. You need a paint that's really thin. So I'm going to put some water in it and make it thinner. This paint just has a horrible consistency to it. It's probably the cheapest paint you could buy. This stuff, Anita's all-purpose acrylic. So the consistency, it's not even mixing with the water. It just kind of stays into this like a gel substance. So I'm not even being able to get dots with it, you know? But it is a really pretty red. Yeah, this one's not working at all. Let me try this side. It's just like gel. Okay, right here. You can kind of see it coming together as I go back and put more layers. Let's make another tree right here. I'm going to grab a different green. I have all my craft paints on another shelf way over there because I don't use them very often. But I'm using them now. Okay, let's try this one. This one looks like a good one. This is a bright green. Let's see how that's going to work. Let's put some of that up here. You see when you start putting all those different colors together, it really starts to make a difference. Just adding some more green in here. All right. I'm about done. Just because I'm like, this is going to take forever. Are you just using the end of the paintbrush? Yes, ma'am. Hey, Terry, I'm using the back side of the paintbrush, but you could use the other side of the paintbrush. It's just, it's just whatever you prefer. You could even use like a dropper or something like that. And it's called pointillism. Okay. I'm experimenting with pointillism. And I'm not giving up on this. I just don't want to bore y'all to death, because this can go on and on and on forever. And I'm starting to see sunflowers take shape down here. I don't see them as well as I would like just yet, but I'm starting to see, can y'all kind of see the sunflowers taking shape down here? So this would probably take me 3 or 4 hours to complete this little 8x10 because there's so many dots that I'm working on. So if you try it and you don't want to spend forever in a day like I am on this, then I would highly suggest that you try like something small, and share it with us in our free Facebook group. Okay. Hey, Miss Diane. And I see this advertisement. I say the following: their art company offers Disney castle painting in dots of all gold paint. I bet you it is. Are you just using it? It'll be beautiful when you finish it. Exactly. I totally agree. So that's basically like step 1 of probably 3 layers of paint that I would have to add. And I'll definitely share the finished product, but we've been on here for an hour and this is how far I've gotten and I'm not close to being done. So I hope you enjoyed this pointillism, and yes, I will definitely share my my finished product. And some of the art looks like punch and cross stitch. Yeah, check it out. It looks really cool, and it works great with acrylic paint because acrylic paint dries so fast and it stays together. If you tried to do this with oils, you would probably have to wait even longer between layers. But and it doesn't look like it would work with watercolor because watercolor, it would just spread on your canvas or on your watercolor paper. So yeah, I really like it because it's a lot of fun and it's very therapeutic. It's just very, very time consuming. So that is definitely something that we learned today. And I hope you have learned something from what we have done today. Please share your product, your final pieces or your comments in our free acrylic painting group. And we will see you next time. You're welcome, Kathy. We will see you next time on New Technique Wednesday. Y'all have a great day. Thanks a lot. Bye.